What's up, guys? My name is Doug McWilliams. I'm the author of The Evolution of Love, How a New Paradigm, right, frees us from fear so we can love openly. This I published on Amazon a couple of years back, and I think I say a lot of important things. Certainly concepts that will help young people who haven't had the experience of all the relationships I've been in, thought about these things, had conversations, worked with friends. Always been an interest of mine. Right? How do we have better relationships? And in this video, I want to talk about one of the concepts from my book, and that is really it's not just about your relationships. It's just about understanding your psyche, who you are, the animal. Excuse me, the animal, the creature that you are, and it's important, I think, for everyone just to be kind of keen about how the brain is structured. And I don't think you don't hear people talk about it, but it's important. So understand that our brains have basically three major regions, right? Responsible for different things. We have a primitive part of our brain that's often called the reptilian brain. Called the reptilian brain because it's basically the same structure that reptiles and birds and fish have. And it's responsible for the basic functions of survival, like the fight or flight instinct, reaction, hunger, and mating, lust. So it's there. It's part of all of us. Okay, it's powerful. I think to deny its existence, to pretend that we can all, we're just angels and don't have those primitive drives, I think is how we get twisted in our lives. Recognize it's part of all of us, and it's nothing to feel guilty about for those primitive, knee-jerk, unconscious, really, reactions to things. So there's a reptilian brain, right, that advertisers oftentimes play upon to get us to do things, so they can manipulate us. So this is a topic you should be aware of and go do some research. It's not too complicated. So reptilian brain, I think limbic system, which we don't have to really get into, and then the most evolved part of our brain is called the neocortex or cerebral cortex, right? This is the part of our brain we've more recently evolved in our journey, and it's responsible for really the virtues that we celebrate as a species. Love, right? This kind of love, not lust, but love, empathy, I think compassion, fairness, justice, and getting along and fitting in with the society around us. And so oftentimes these parts of our brain are not in harmony. You can fall in love with someone who's not good for you, or is off limits, you shouldn't be with. And so this is a point that I make over and over again. It's important. I'll keep saying it. You're going to fall in love, right, with people who are not a good match for you. They could be a terrible match for you. This is my story, and I just see it play out over and over again. This falling in love, this primitive love that I call it in my book, it's kind of unconscious. It can happen like that. The magic, the fireworks, and it doesn't. That's the first piece of hopefully a much larger puzzle that fits together to determine whether or not you guys are going to be a good fit together. And I think a lot of people, youngsters, make the mistake, and I think society and movies play into this mindset that you're going to grow up, right? You're going to meet the one, your soulmate, and you're going to know it right away. It's this powerful, overwhelming feeling. It's magic. It's falling in love, and that's the one you're meant to be with. And I say no, absolutely not. Yes, it happens, and it's powerful, and it's fun. Doesn't mean you're meant to be together for any amount of time. That said, it's great to have, so pursue that. When you find it, go talk to that person, flirt, get to know each other, see what your life goals are. I mean, do you have good conversation and similar values? And I talk about all the characteristics and traits that I really need in my partnership for me to say this is a successful, healthy relationship. You got about a dozen things there. And if any one of those things are not there, it's a deal breaker. Just means it's not that I stop caring about them or blow them off. We can be friends, but this one-on-one partnership um, it's not going to work. It's not going to be healthy. We're not going to get what we want out of this. So you have to be somewhat selective and clear about what it is that you want. And unfortunately, I think my book will help, and hopefully my videos help too. But you have to go through some relationships to figure it out what it is that you do want and like, and figure out yourself. One of the reasons I wrote this book is I think a lot of people they're on the sidelines. They don't want to date and fall in love because they don't want to get hurt again. I think that's sad. And even those that do date, and there is oftentimes this fear that ultimately just sabotages the quality and the duration of the relationship. We've got to get past the fear. And I can just tell you, for me, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of heartbreak or someone's going to cheat on me or not. Please, guys, hopefully we get to the point of being adults. No one's going to define me. Okay? I love myself. Not in an arrogant way. I'm happy. I like who I am. Proud of myself. I'm just working to be better. But the thing is, I don't need anybody. No one's going to validate me and make me, successful. Make me, I don't care who it is. Playmate of the month or some pop star or anybody else. That's not a reflection of who I am. And by the same token, my being single is not a reflection on my value. I think people got to get there. To not need anyone. To be okay by yourself. And then you can be honest in those relationships. And should it not work out, which, let's be real, most of the time it's probably not going to work out. And let me just give you the cold hard fact right now. The next person you get involved with is probably not the one that's going to last 50 years. Right? I think that's obvious. I think it's important to just be real about that. That's not being pessimistic or negative. It's just being real. So what are we so upset about? Should it not? Should we come to the conclusion that we're not right for each other? That we don't have the same aspirations? There's nothing wrong with that. The thing that's wrong, the shame, the folly is not trying, not getting out there and meeting and finding out about other people. And again, finding out about yourself. Get out there, get in the game. So, to sum up, I think it's important to understand how the mind works, how the brain works, and I think these different regions of the brain, I think, dovetails nicely with like Sigmund Freud's concept of the psyche, right? The ego, the superego, that there are these conflicting parts of our person, our mind, and to recognize those parts and say, well, which parts of my mind am I gonna honor and celebrate and respect the most? I hope it's not the selfish, needy kind of love that wants to possess, that turns bitter and angry if that person doesn't want to be with you for whatever reason. And let's start talking about this, what I call the new paradigm. And maybe it's not new, but I really think I crystallized the concept here. It's the same love that you have for friends and family, that you recognize that that person is part of you, that you respect them, you care about them, and it's an honor to be their friend. And there is a sexual aspect too with your partnerships, and that's the twist. So it's all the love you have for friends and family with hopefully a sexual chemistry. And when you love someone like that, family, parents, I think the way they express their love is someday they have to let their children go. Right? No matter how much parents want their kids maybe to stay at home and be right with them, that a lot of times they have to let their kids go and live their life. And so it's an open hand. It's freedom. If you can't get to a point where you can love your partner like that, then I think you have work to do. That's my opinion anyway. So hope that works for you. Yeah, share, comment. I'll try to answer questions. Um, and I'm straight up. I'm going to really talk about all the concepts that I've discussed in this book, because it's not about selling books. I want to get a name, for myself. I want a voice in the world. If I can bring more satisfaction and more love to the world, that'd be a great legacy. And again, I think I've got some unique things to say about it to, help people maybe not agree with me, but maybe just help define their own concept of what it means to love and what they want out of their relationships. So I wish you guys well. Thanks. Bye.